In this practice, we're going to be addressing how the mind becomes burdensome to our vitality and to our mental well-being in every way when we don't have an appropriate practice of surrender. So we say right surrender at the right time for the right reason. So this practice is really about autumn equinox, the fall equinox, which is our equal between nighttime and daytime. And it's the equinox of surrendering, whereas spring equinox is an equinox for rising up or making a new commitment, a new revitalization. This is for deep regeneration. And to help that process so the mind can go back to be restored, we practice unburdening, loosening the clutch we might have on a long-held belief system or a belief about ourselves or a perception or a mental habit. So expect the class to be slow and thoughtful and to be deeply renewing for you. And I hope that your mind will feel really peaceful on the other side. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. And now let's get into the practice. I'll see you there. Namaste. Welcome for morning practice. I have just returned from the East Coast, so I'm having the expected jet lag transition. And it's also equinox, autumn equinox this weekend. So I'd like to focus on that process of equinox for this particular class. So please take a comfortable seat. You can rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes. You can also choose to keep your eyes open and simply gaze down, so your eyes are not a source of distraction, but rather a source of concentration. Lengthen your spine, and as always, relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Release the hinge of your jaw. Allow your tongue to be slack at the bottom of your mouth. Soften the place between your eyebrows and also soften at the corners of your eyes. And then you can imagine yourself sitting for this morning's practice in the turning of our world called autumn equinox. So where the evenness between daylight and nighttime has happened. And we are making our curve around the sun in our planet's orbit. And the autumn equinox is the time where we consider what are we appropriately surrendering so that we can go back to our roots and to nourish what we're going to need as nourishment through the next season of the year. This is not only the autumn equinox, it's also the transition from the Pitta season into the Vata season. And therefore, nourishing our roots is really recommended. Vata tends to be the most ungrounded of the doshas. But Vata is also the dosha that teaches us about surrender. And so it's a beautiful time to consider, what am I able to surrender, particularly in the habits of the mind that become things like our behaviors and our actions. Allow your body to hear that question or that invitation and see what that's like. How is it landing in your body? What happens with your breathing? You know, many people have a relationship to surrender where they feel like they're going to lose something or they're giving something up. It's going to somehow subtract something essential from them. However, surrender is actually very liberating. It's very freeing. It frees up vitality that is otherwise occupied with holding on. Just considering that for yourself, let it simmer a few moments more. And in the spirit of the beauty of surrender, the unburdening, liberating experience of surrender, please join your hands together at your heart. And we'll chant Asatoma Satgamaya. May we know the real from the unreal, the true from the untrue. May we have discernment between that which brings tamas and that which brings jyoti, that which brings darkness and that which brings light. And may we know the difference between that which is finite, that which is ever changing, rising and passing, and that which is abiding, that which is infinite. So we say, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Please open your eyes. And so in the spirit of finding that the capacity for surrender, the appropriate surrender for the appropriate reason, like what are you willing to give up? And the reason being to unburden yourself. So it's helpful to consider that sometimes we think, oh, I'll surrender this or that because we're not that attached to that. So that surrender is easier. So the appropriate surrender is the one that actually requires surrender, not the thing that's easier to just say, yeah, I'll surrender that thing, which isn't that meaningful to me. So do something that's meaningful for you, a particular thought or a perception, a long-held belief, perhaps, that actually burdens you in some way that you could consider surrendering in this practice. And then the reason for surrender, so the appropriate kind of surrender and the appropriate reason is to unburden yourself. Not to have any sense of regret or punishment of yourself that you held a particular belief for a long, long time, and maybe it wasn't that functional. This has nothing to do with sort of this kind of thinking, this culturated thinking here in the US. This is yoga. So we are surrendering the belief that has kept us bound or has hindered us in some way, or a thought that keeps us in a reactive, reflective, or compulsive mode. We're surrendering that thing. Okay, so in your comfortable seat, I'm going to ask you to make it like a tripod. It's a base that's really balanced. So between your hips, thighs, and knees, make it feel stable. And that might mean that you're sitting in a chair with the knees and feet wide, or that you're sitting up a little higher than I am, but you may have blocks under your knees. Interlace your fingers, and let's inhale, raise your arms up. And keeping your base stable, exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale up to center. Exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale up to center. We're going to continue with this. On the exhale, as you side bend, use the full length of your exhale so you're not dropping into your end range too soon. Inhale, rise up slowly using your full in-breath. Exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, side bend to your right. One more time, inhale, rising up. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, raise up to center. And on the exhale, sweep your arms wide and do a gentle bow forward. If possible, your head gets to touch something. Maybe it's the cat. And then raise back up to sitting. So often a forward fold has a gesture of humility or surrender. So you'll see that in our practice today. So this side bending, we're going to keep it even. We call that sama pranayama, where the in-breath and the out-breath are equal to each other. We're going to add to the sequence and keep an evenness of the cadence, almost like a metronome. So on your inhale, raise up. Exhale, right. Inhale, rise up to center, look up. Exhale, hands down behind your head, gaze down. Inhale, press up and look up. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, rise. Exhale, palms down behind your head, gaze down. Inhale, press up and look up. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale, rise up to center. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, rise up, look up. Exhale, hands down behind your head, gaze down, squeeze the elbows back. And now inhale, press up and look up. And exhale, arms wide. Let's come back down to this gentle forward bend. It is ideal to give your head something to rest on. Probably that's not actually your cat or your dog. Might be the floor, could be a block. Allow your body to breathe in the forward bend in whatever way feels really natural to you. And then inhale and come back up to sitting. Okay, so just finding a place of rest in the center now, the center of that activity. Notice how it was to have the arms up and to be up for that amount of time, and then to have the arms come down. This is kind of a healthy surrender. We could say we're embodying that feeling of surrender right there. You can now place your left hand across your right knee. Hopefully it's a bit of a wide reach for you. And as you place your left hand, curve around your knee, place the right hand on the floor and rotate to aim to your right. It doesn't have to be a big twist, but aim to your right and then little bit of a forward bend. So we're going to add this little forward bend. If you think of our upright place as, let's say, 90, maybe you're at 80 or 75 degrees forward. Walk your right hand forward. If you are comfortable doing so, walk the left hand forward so your forward bend moves a few degrees more. Let's try to keep the left hip grounded where it is. Walk your right hand forward, left hand forward. Breathe in as you root your left hip down. On the exhale, encourage an inner attitude of surrender for your mind and your body. Walk your right hand forward, left hand forward. And keep the left hip grounded to the best of your ability. And then walk yourself back up to center. And when you come up, check and see if it's possible that one hip now feels more grounded than the other, or one side of the body might feel lighter than the other, or you have a little feeling of a zigzag. And then walk your right hand across to your left knee. Go ahead and cup your knee pretty firmly the first time and place your left hand where you need it to be. Rotate to face left. It's not a huge twist to the back of the room, but really facing left. And then come a tiny bit forward. So your 90-degree upright position is now about 80, maybe 75 degrees. And then you can walk your left hand forward, right hand forward. Let's keep the right hip grounded. That might seem difficult, right? It's you have to put your mind back on the root here. And you can think of your whole right thigh as a part of that root system as well. And walk your left hand forward, right hand forward. One thing we do recommend surrendering in yoga practices, physical tension, but also mental expectation. So walk forward if you have any more distance to travel. And if you're at the end range of your integrity in the position, then simply breathe into your experience as you are. Then walk yourself back up to center. When you arrive, try to sense the leveling out from equal left, equal right explorations. The distance might not be equal, the range of motion might not be equal, but kind of an evenness of attitude about having gone right, having gone left. Okay, cross your ankles so your seat is a little more snug. You can, if possible, put your knees onto your feet. It's called Sukhasana. If your knees are hovering up, go ahead and put blocks underneath them to support them. Reach your hands out over your knees. And then as you inhale, come up into your cow pose spine. It means extension spine. And then exhale, curl down into your cat pose spine, which means your flexion spine. Inhale, roll forward. Make it slow, smooth, and steady. Exhale, curl down and find your way. Just an inward sense of movement back down towards the root. Inhale, roll forward and up for the purpose of discovering if there's any tension to be released. And on the exhale, release whatever that tension might be as you roll down and back towards your root system. Inhale, roll up again. Follow your own breath cycle, please. And exhale to curl down. And now come up to center. So you're sitting cross-legged, and this might be your preferred way to sit. We will do both of the experiences. So I'd like you to come forward now into a stretch for the hips and pelvis. So as you walk forward, walk your hands forward. Go ahead and release the weight of your head. If you've got a cat or a dog in your way, make your own accommodation. They might not accommodate you. So as you come forward, you may feel this in your hips. Some people will feel it in their lower back or maybe the inner thighs. And let's exhale completely. Think of yourself as facing noon on your clock right now. And then walk yourself towards the 1 p.m. part of your clock face. You're going to walk to your right. Allow the right side waist to shrink. Lengthen your left side waist as you walk towards 1:30. And deeply relax your body where it's appropriate to do so. Maintain the tone of your breath to support your inner body and your nervous system. And walk towards the 2 p.m. part of the clock. You might be meeting up with some different tensions in your body or places you didn't even know were tight. So greet those places with kindness, with respect. And we'll walk over towards 2:30. Do your best to keep the left hip grounded so you can stay aware of your root system, left sitting bone, left outer thigh, the right outer foot, the right outer ankle. And then walk towards what you think of as 3 p.m., which is to your right. And walk in whatever way you can find yourself there. Again, releasing mental expectation and physical tension, while maintaining your focus, your breath, your concentration. And then walk yourself back up to center and notice how things feel when you come back up to this place we're going to call center. Might feel a little bit lopsided temporarily. Okay, let's change the ankles, please. So put your other ankle on the inside or the outside. And when you get them adjusted, it might be your awkward seat, the one you prefer not to do. Everybody has one side that feels like that, generally speaking. Okay, let's come forward. And again, accommodate yourself around your situation, as I'm doing here. When you come down, you may have a different ability to come forward when the other hip or the other ankle is in this position. So breathe in. Relax any mental expectation. Release any unnecessary physical tension. But maintain your sense of concentration and focus through the breath and through your mind. And let's walk towards 11 a.m., which we'll say is on the left. These poses help to bring our nervous system also inward and downward, where we can reconnect to our foundation. You can walk to 10:30, which is to your left. And we'll walk to 10 a.m. It's not necessary for your knee and your nose to meet, but they might meet. And we're going to walk towards 9 a.m. And then while breathing smoothly, walk yourself back up to center. So you're You're back in Sukhasana. Let the sort of candlestick of the torso be upright. And the base of the candle is your Sukhasana seat. Rest your hands on your knees. Let yourself go inside. So in the spirit of evenness from left to right, let's put the soles of the feet together. Excuse me, hon. Okay, soles of the feet together. This is Baddha Konasana. And for some people, even if when you sit in Siddhasana, which is the first pose, which looks like this, even if your knees touch the floor really comfortably here, it is a change of dynamic with the soles of the feet together. So you'll see that my knees are up now. They float up a bit. And that's based on the shape of your hip sockets and your flexibility, your athletic or non-athletic activities, right? So no agenda there that the knees have to reach the ground. But as you reach up through the crown of your skull, gently press down with your knees using your outer hip muscles to do it. And then breathe in. You can hold on to the toes or the ankles, stretch so that your upper chest and throat can open here. And then exhale, curl your chin down towards your throat. Lift the heart still upright. Inhale, reach up, open the front of your heart, your throat, your neck. Exhale, look to your right and come down. Inhale, raise up to your right and to center. Exhale, rotate left and down, looking down past your left shoulder. Inhale, raise up and center. And then exhale and come forward. And try to keep the heart open, keep the throat moderately open, not too closed, not too open. And as you come forward, walk your hands forward. Lift from the base of your skull and relax your eyes, your face, and your jaw. Let's breathe in and then breathe out a complete exhalation. And do that one more time. Full inhalation, please. And a full and thoughtful exhale. And then walk yourself back up to sitting. Okay, so let's now just take a simple seat. Come back to where you started your practice. And we're going to check and see if your mind has had any updates. Does it feel like it might be more present here, a little bit quieter here? You might start getting the news of your body, like how deeply tired you are or how restless you have been. You might be getting news about you're not that far from your health and well-being. It comes back pretty easily with just a couple of yoga poses. So rest and reflect for a moment. Could picture you're hiking and you're just checking the compass right now. Which direction are you facing? How are things going? Okay, and then please rise up to standing. So we're going to start working into the hips a little more deeply. And there are some yoga poses we haven't done that much online during the pandemic because it's difficult to see each other. And I always encourage you to do the practice based on your body's capacity to do the practice. But I'd like you to come up to standing and take a wide stance. The stance is going to be about the length of one of your legs. When you take that wide stance, watching out for any obstacles in your way, come down to your forward bend. It's a good time to remove your glasses. Allow yourself to come down. This is a familiar pose for all of you. Let's call it pyramid pose when you come down. Energize your legs, your heels, and your toes. And then walk your left hand across to your right ankle. This is also a familiar pose for us, those of us who are in class. So side bend to your right, so your torso comes towards your right leg while keeping your hips centered. Take your right hand up to check that your sacrum actually is centered. Allow the breath to be even and steady between inhale and exhale. So here we surrender the mind, relax your face, your eyes, your tongue, but maintain the integrity of your breath and the physical structure of your pose. So that is the strength of your legs, the strength of your feet, heels and toes. And then with your next inhale, raise up, and we're going to keep facing in this sort of diagonal direction. Turn your right foot directly to the right towards the front of your yoga mat. Now the left foot is back there on your mat. Take your left heel slightly back from your right heel. And there's an angle where, if we think of noon is where Nakula is, he's at noon. And my right foot points towards what would be 3 p.m. And the torso is going to go towards 2 p.m. in this direction here, which is actually towards Panda Kitty. It's not that visible right now, but that is her little fuzzy body right there. Let's breathe in, energize both legs. And again, keep the structure of your legs, your roots, your heels, your toes. But relax your mind, your face, your eyes, your tongue. So if we're facing at about noon right now with the torso, and yet your legs are holding steady in Trikonasana, the kind of base of Trikonasana, I'd like you to think about sliding your left hip, your outer left hip back towards the wall. That would represent, well, noon is here, so actually to the right is 3. It would represent 9 o'clock. So slide the left outer hip back towards the 9 o'clock on the face of your clock. You might start sensing your right inner thigh. So let's keep the right big toe grounded, right inner heel grounded. Lengthen your inner right thigh. And then as you next inhale, rotate your torso, root your tailbone, and raise the left arm. So this is a variation on triangle pose. We're well forward of the right leg here because the torso is at that 2 o'clock mark. As you rotate your chest and your heart towards the ceiling, keep the outer right hip strong. So we're not sashaying the pelvis backwards. The right hip is very stable. And you could think of your heels, legs, and hips as aligned with each other from the ground towards the ceiling. So if we look from a bird's eye perspective, your right hip would not be swinging wildly back towards the space behind you. Let's take a deep breath in. And then exhale. And as you bring your left hand down, I'm going to ask you now to bend your right knee deeply and allow your torso to come down in towards that like 2 p.m. spot on your clock. When you bend the right knee, go ahead and think of your right knee is going to come over your right heel. So your right shin is going to be eventually, potentially vertical from your heel to your knee. Now, keeping your left leg strong, go ahead and walk your right hand to a place behind your right ankle. So your right hand can hold your ankle. I just lifted up so you could see here. I'm going to hold the back of my ankle, and then you can encourage your right hip to slide back towards your left heel. You may duck your right shoulder under your right thigh. Relax the weight of your head. I like to hold my right foot with my left hand, so it feels like a pose where you're really going inside, like into a little cave. Okay, let's breathe deeply one more time. And then exhale, press into your fingertips, straighten your arms, lengthen your right leg, and rotate back to center. Make the feet parallel. And relax the weight of your torso. Keeping your legs energized, raise your hands to your hips. And then rise up to standing and just check and see how things feel left to right. You know, in terms of, we're not hoping for perfect symmetry, but we might find some equanimity or some evenness right to left. Now we'll go down to the other side. So basically you're ducking under your leg there. Like we could think of it called spelunking. You're going cave exploring. You're spelunking into your psyche. Okay. So come down to your forward bend. Let's think of the torso now as facing noon. 9 o'clock is directly to your left. Walk your right hand over to hold your left ankle. And as you swish your torso towards your left leg, check with your left hand that your sacrum is remaining stable. Your hips and pelvis are still centered. And you can return your left hand to a place that you're comfortable with on the floor. Come into an even and steady breath. This little side shift that we have, you can think of the torso as like the pendulum on the grandfather clock, and we have ticked to the left here and we haven't returned yet to center. We'll breathe in one more time. And then raise up onto your fingertips. You can straighten both arms, and let's turn the left foot directly to the left towards 9 o'clock. Slide your right heel back slightly. And now we're going to face the torso towards 10 o'clock. In my case, it's towards my water glass. Lengthen your left inner thigh. You can think about drawing your left hip towards your right hip and your right hip towards your right heel. So, you know, as if even you were in a class and somebody had a yoga strap and they could give you a little tug back to your right. Press into your right outer heel. Allow your breathing to be smooth and, let's say, comforting or nourishing. We're well forward of the left leg, which means that for some of us, you're more easily touching the floor than you would be if you were back lined up with your left heel or your foot. Press into the left fingertips, please. Straighten your elbow. Even if your left hand's on a block, you can straighten the arm. Rotate your torso to the right, draw the outer right hip towards your right heel, excuse me. And as you're turning, then raise your right arm up. Breathe in smoothly. Notice the energy of reaching up, right? And then on the exhale, let yourself fold down and bend your left knee deeply. So you're not going to see my left knee very well, but come down to the inside of your left ankle. So you're still facing towards 10 a.m. in this case. Let's keep the right leg strong from the inner thigh down to the inner arch, and from your inner arch back up into your inner thigh. And then we're going to walk a little bit towards the left leg. So if you take your left hand, here's my left hand, and put it at the back of your left ankle, that's how you're going to be able to snug your torso down a little bit underneath your left thigh. You may want to hold your left ankle with your right hand as well. And draw your left hip back towards your right heel. You can relax the weight of your head and imagine that you're going spelunking. You're going in towards like an inner cave. It's a place of refuge, not a place of friction or competition. And press into your fingertips to straighten your arms. Let's straighten the left leg as well and rotate your feet back to center and come down, all praise Nakula. Okay, and then hands to your hips and please rise up to standing. You've done some spelunking. And go heel toe, heel toe, heel toe back to center. And come to mountain pose. Relax your arms. You can close your eyes if you like. Allow your mind and your body to relax, but keep your sense of your plumb line. So surrendering the mind, surrendering physical tension is not the same as letting everything go. We still hold to that plumb line. Okay, and then you can open your eyes as you're ready to. We're going to transition into tree pose. So this is Nakula, my first of the set of two kitties. He's the dad of Panda, and he's the dad of Bindi, and the brother of Nandita. And I've been away from home for 5 days. I was out at the Yoga Alliance board retreat in Washington, D.C. So he's apparently needing some more connection. So stand on your left leg, please, for tree pose. And let's make the left leg the center line. So lift the inner arch on your left leg, tone the outer left hip and thigh, and then pick up your right knee. And you can place your right foot along the inseam of your left leg, wherever it's going to be comfortable for you. I would not recommend that you place your foot directly against your knee, because I'd like your foot to press into your left leg, just as your left leg is pressing into your foot, so they're equal in pressure. So if your right heel's quite high, then the pressure from the outer left thigh and the right heel, they're meeting here in this plumb line. And then we'll bring the hands to the heart for this tree pose. Lengthen from your right lower belly and right outer hip towards your right knee, as if that was a telescope. As much as you root down into your left heel and your left big toe, lift the inner left arch without rolling into your outer left arch. Again, you want to tone the left outer hip. Even the left butt should feel toned. And we'll sweep the arms out to the side, a kind of evenness of the canopy of your branches. Root down with your tailbone, turn your palms face up and raise both arms. And keeping the left leg strong, remember your left outer hip. Even the pelvis, the glutes are toned here too. They can play a role in supporting your pelvis. And then let's exhale, float the arms down, float your right foot back to the floor without losing strength in the left leg. And when your feet are down, when the arms and hands are down, then again, surrender. But maintain your plumb line. And then standing on your right leg, tone your right outer hip, the outer thigh is there too. Lift the right inner arch. And then pick up your left foot. And you can place it Even you could put it down low against your ankle as a kind of kickstand position, or you can place it higher up. There's no awards given. So make a choice according to your capacity. And then you want the strength of the left foot. If it's firmly against the right inner thigh, that strength is met by your right outer thigh. And then hands to the heart. Maintain your breathing, smooth and steady. And if you're practicing on a carpet, which I'm doing right now, this is underneath this yoga mat is a carpet, a white carpet. Underneath that is a firm black soundproofing kind of fabric between this room and the room beneath me. Under that is a hardwood floor. Under that is a room. So you may not have a completely stable tree pose, depends on where you're standing. But if practicing on a carpet gives you a little bit of opportunity to strengthen, and you can enjoy that opportunity to strengthen, like I'm doing right now. Sometimes we even practice tree pose standing on the yoga block or on a balance board. Okay, let's take the arms wide for those of you who'd like to reach out on the canopy of your branches. And then turn your palms face up. Raise your arms if you like. Keep lengthening your left thigh towards your left knee. And then as you exhale, keep the left leg strong. Come on. You want to come up? Go ahead and step down. I saw that request. Hi, honey. Yeah. Let's come to mountain pose. Yeah, you're okay. Okay, I wish you guys that you could feel the purr. There you go. Thank you. Okay, let's come down to take a seat once again and find your blanket to sit on, please. It's okay. Yes. We're all here together. Yeah, scooch. Okay, take a seat in Sukhasana, please. So cross your right ankle over your left ankle in the front. Rest your hands out over your knees. Drop inside to see where that inner surrender means that the mind is less and less burdened. And this is a good time to reflect back on, was there one thought you wanted to let go of more often, or one belief system that you're like, hey, that one is outdated, it's unhelpful, it's unproductive. I'd like to let that one go. And see if you've let it kind of float away for a time. Yes, I came home after 5 days. I'm right here. Yeah. Okay, cross your left hand over your right knee, this time for a full twist. Walk your right hand around behind you and twist to your right. Hi. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I came back. That's right. Okay, as you twist to your right, look over your right shoulder. Yeah. I'm here. All is well. Okay. On the exhale, you can imagine that thought or that belief, whatever that thing is that you feel like it's really not serving you anymore. And it's an okay time to let it drift. Like when the leaf on the tree is going to get dry and it will go to the ground, it will become compost. Meanwhile, the tree is going back to its roots, and so too are you. And then rotate around to face forward. It's a good time to change your ankles. So please put your left in front of your right, unless that would mean disturbing your cat, in my case. And then bring your right hand across to your left knee. I admire you too, honey. Yes, you can look lovingly. Please twist to your left. Hey, you're so devoted, Nakula. As you twist left, look over your left shoulder, and let's bring the breath into balance again. Considering, especially on the exhale, this can be a very subtle, simple practice. On the exhale, can you have a little bit more of that letting go? It's to serve you in unburdening. And so there's a joyfulness in the letting go, maybe even a quality of relief. Yes, I missed you too. Okay, exhale, come back around to center. Please bring your right knee up and take the left leg out straight. Panda is just quietly minding her own business right now. She doesn't have the same attachment style as Nakula does. Hi, honey. It's okay. All right, so with the right knee up, reach up with your right arm, please. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, come down to the inside of your right thigh. Reach over towards your left heel. If you can hold it, you can also use a yoga strap. You're welcome to bow your head towards your left leg. Now, for some of you, as you come down like this, there's a very, has a kind of spelunking feeling. There's a pose you can do like this. If you wrap your right arm around the outside of your right shin, around the outside of your right thigh, and then you clasp your fingers back there, and this forward bend has a binding. The binding is your left hand and your right hand at the small of your back. It is not necessary to do this. You can always use the yoga pose in the capacity that your body's able to do. The benefit of wrapping is both energetic and, it's physiological, but there's also a sense of being wrapped into oneself. As you go to the inner cave of your body, allow your breathing to come down into your pelvis, your lower back, the sides of your waist. And then raise back up to your seat. As you come up, now cross your left hand to the outside of your right shin, walk your right hand behind you, and please twist to your right. As you twist, swish your lower belly across your thigh. And for those of you for whom it feels appropriate to do so, take the left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. You could put your hand in a mudra if that's something that you enjoy, and you can point that down towards the floor. Let's look over the right shoulder. We do want to have a healthy ability to wring out the inner body, to do that kind of rinse, soak, rinse, squeeze, repeat. That is one part of the process of being able to actually let go of a belief system, not only in your mind, but also that your body sheds the residue of the holding pattern of that belief system. And then with your exhale, please return to face forward. Let's switch the two legs. So take the right leg out, bring the left leg in. Push myself to the side so I don't disturb anybody. With your inhale, raise your left arm up. And then exhale and come forward. As you come down, you can reach your left hand to hold your right heel, not your cat's tail, but your right heel. Excuse me, Panda. Allow your torso to relax and to surrender. while maintaining your mental concentration and the smoothness of the breath. For those of you who'd like to, you can wrap the left arm around. You may wrap your right hand around so that you're going to hold your fingers at the small of your back. Again, that's not required to do. It is helpful to resist leaning over to your right. So you're really centered over your right leg, but not falling to your right. And then let's inhale, rise up to sitting. Okay, cross your right hand to the outside of your left thigh or your left shin, whatever's easier to hold. Swoosh the inner belly to your left. So you're going to be turning like snug like the washing machine. Walk the left hand behind you. Good. And if you'd like to, you can wrap your right arm to the outside of your left thigh. You might use a mudra. The one I'm using goes with the first chakra. And you can point that down towards the earth if you'd like to. Notice how the breath is moving in you. And what you can release from the mind. Yeah. And then exhale and come around to face forward, please. Okay, let's take this down towards the floor, towards Shavasana, so that we have some time for meditation, which is really the pinnacle. When you move from Pitta season to Vata season, meditation becomes an even more important part of your practice. And that is both in the season of the year and the season of your life. Hi, honey. Wait, I didn't get down yet. No, it didn't happen yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Should we do it together? Oh, hi, honey. I don't think you're going to transition well with me. Let's see how it goes. Okay, down to Shavasana, please. Did you get your foot stuck? You did, yeah. Okay, there we go. This is my most devoted cat. When you come down to Shavasana, you have a 10-pound sandbag or a 10-pound purring, warm, fuzzy object. You could place that on your pelvis. Okay, come down to rest. So this is where your body does the shedding, the surrendering, and your mind follows the cues from your body. So you're welcome to close the eyes and imagine the leaves on the branches of the tree. They become loosened, and we see the beautiful infrastructure of the tree. It is returning to its roots in the soil. Allow yourself to be deeply restful in the mind. Mm-hmm. Invite your arms and your legs to get heavier with relaxation, to feel like a deep physical letting go. Place your confidence in the ground beneath you, from which you are being held right now. Moment to moment, allow your body to become more profoundly relaxed, like layer upon layer of letting go. Relax the space between your eyebrows. Invite your mind to also go layer by layer to deeper and deeper letting go. Allow yourself to rest deeply, even more deeply now. Allow yourself again to go even more deeply into relaxation now. As we rest for another minute, I'm going to ask you to imagine that your doshas are coming into balance. The layers of your koshas are coming into balance. Your nervous system, respiration, body chemistry, your mind, your heart, all coming back into harmony. And try to sense that this opportunity for harmony in your body right now, one contributing factor is your willingness to let go of thoughts or beliefs that no longer serve you. And then you can slightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. Let's roll the head side to side. Bend your knees. You can bend them one at a time. You roll to your side. Return to your seat. Get my blanket out from under my cat. Yes, hi Panda. Yeah. Yeah, the students, they're gonna sit back up again. You're not gonna sit up right now? Just doing a different position for Shavasana? The variation on Shavasana? Yeah. Yeah, hi. Okay. So come into a comfortable seat where you feel like you can rest your mind. And this is the most important part of the practice today, right? This is when your Vata dosha has the chance to find its way back home. So take a seat that is stable and comfortable. You want it to be balanced from your hips to your knees. You can rest your hands in your lap. Rest your mind back in the silence, that silence which is not damaged by your thoughts and is not hindered by your thoughts. It's deeper than thought, larger than thought, holding the space for a thought to come and go. And invite yourself to have a clear mind, unburdened by the unhelpful, perhaps long-held beliefs or mental habits. Practice staying connected to the quietude of your mind, the unburdened mind. Please raise your hands to your heart. If you're hearing an ongoing vibration sound, it's the cat's purring. If the microphone's not picking that up, I'm sorry you're missing out. Thank you everyone for sharing your practice today. May you have an unburdened mind. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and with the community. I hope you felt rested, restored, revitalized at your root system. If you have questions or comments, please leave those down below the video. If you want to tell us what you're unburdening from your mind, go ahead and put that in the comments too. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. That does help me to keep producing content for you. My intention is to continue spreading the authentic experience of yoga and Ayurveda and to support you with your mental health, your physical well-being in every sense. So we become good citizens of our opportunities here in yoga, but also in the ecology and in the larger community. Thanks again for being here. Namaste.